All right, so you're thinking about opening a restaurant in New Mexico.
Exciting.
It is. What an adventure. We've got excerpts from a blog post here.
Okay.
Someone's firsthand experience, and it's packed with tips, specifically for navigating the New Mexican restaurant scene.
Cool.
So buckle up, because this deep dive is about to save you from some serious rookie mistakes.
I love it. You know what's fascinating to me?
What's that?
How New Mexico's restaurant scene caters to two very distinct groups.
Oh,
You've got adventurous tourists eager to try authentic Southwestern cuisine,
right.
and then a fiercely loyal local crowd who know their green chile from their red.
Yeah, that's a tough crowd. It's a delicate balance to strike, appealing to both.
It is.
The blog mentions a growing demand for fusion dishes, though. Could that be a way to bridge the gap?
It definitely could.
Yeah.
Imagine blending traditional Southwestern flavors with, say, Asian or Mediterranean influences.
Oh, wow.
There's a real opportunity to get creative and carve out a unique niche.
Yeah.
Especially since competition in hotspots like Albuquerque and Santa Fe is fierce.
For sure.
Location and a clear concept are going to be your secret weapons.
I like that. Secret weapons. The blog actually calls choosing the wrong location a recipe for disaster.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of dramatic, but they make a good point.
No, it's completely true.
Yeah.
You could have the most amazing food in the world, but
Right.
if nobody can find you, or if your restaurant isn't in a location that makes sense for your target audience, you're fighting an uphill battle from day one.
Makes sense. So let's say I'm ready to scout locations.
Okay.
What's the first step? Do I just wander around different neighborhoods and see what vibes with me?
Well, you'll want to tap into your inner Sherlock Holmes.
Okay.
It's about observation.
Mm.
Pick a few neighborhoods you're interested in.
Okay.
Spend time there at different times of the day, especially during peak hours like lunch or weekends.
Okay.
Are the sidewalks bustling? Are the parking lots full? That gives you a sense of foot traffic and potential customer volume.
So it's not just about how a place looks, but how it feels.
Right.
The energy of the street.
Exactly. But you also need to be a bit of a data detective.
Okay.
Look at the demographics of the area.
Okay.
Is it mostly families, young professionals, retirees? Then consider the surrounding businesses. Are you near office buildings that could guarantee a lunch rush, or maybe art galleries that attract a more sophisticated evening crowd?
Okay, so let's say I'm narrowing down my location search.
Right.
The blog specifically mentions Albuquerque, Santa Fe, and Taos.
Yeah.
Could you give me a quick rundown of each?
Yeah.
What are the pros and cons?
Sure. Albuquerque's advantage is its diversity.
Okay.
You've got everything from trendy up-and-coming neighborhoods to well-established restaurant districts.
Right.
Plus, being the biggest city, there's a larger pool of potential customers for both casual and high-end concepts.
What about Santa Fe?
Yeah,
It's known for its art and tourism, right?
exactly. Santa Fe is perfect if you're envisioning a more upscale dining experience, or something that leans into the city's cultural richness,
Right.
but be prepared for seasonal swings.
Oh, yeah.
Tourism is a double-edged sword. Busy in the summer and during ski season, but potentially slower during the off-season.
Gotcha. And Taos.
Yeah.
What's the restaurant scene like there?
Taos is smaller, more intimate.
Okay.
It attracts a specific kind of tourist people seeking a unique, almost spiritual experience.
Interesting.
Think eco-conscious, art-inspired, farm-to-table concepts.
Right.
The competition might be less intense, but the customer base is also more niche.
So location is locked in.
All right.
The concept is crystal clear. Now it's time for the less glamorous part, right? The permits,
Yeah.
licenses, that whole bureaucratic maze.
It's not the most exciting part, I'll admit,
Yeah.
but it's absolutely essential.
Right.
And as the blog points out, New Mexico has its own unique set of regulations.
Oh, really?
Think of it this way. Getting your permits in order is like laying the foundation for a strong, secure building.
Makes sense. So what are the absolute must-haves?
Yeah.
What should I be prepared to tackle?
First up, the basics.
Go on.
A business license from your city or county.
Okay.
Then the food establishment permit from the New Mexico Environment Department.
Got it.
This ensures you're meeting all the health and safety standards.
Right.
They want to see that your kitchen is sparkling.
Right. And I imagine those standards are pretty high. New Mexico is known for its amazing food safety record.
Absolutely. And if you're planning to serve alcohol,
Yeah.
brace yourself for the liquor license process.
Oh, boy.
It can be quite complex and expensive in New Mexico.
Okay.
So factor that into your budget early on.
Okay. Good to know. Anything else that tends to catch people by surprise?
Signage permits.
Huh.
Don't assume you can just hang your restaurant sign.
Wow.
Some cities have very specific regulations about size, placement, even the type of font you can use.
Wow, I wouldn't have thought of that. It's all about the details.
It really is. And trust me,
Yeah,
getting these permits sorted out up front is much less painful than facing fines or closures down the line.
for sure. Okay, on to another topic that can be a bit daunting.
What's that?
Money.
Oh, yeah.
The blog warns about underestimating startup costs, which seems like a pretty common pitfall.
It is, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Opening a restaurant in New Mexico can easily cost anywhere from $250,000 to over $1 million.
Wow.
And that's just to get started.
Okay, I need a moment to process that $1 million figure. Let's break it down.
Sure.
Where does all that money go?
Well, a big chunk is your lease or purchase of the property itself.
Okay,
Prime locations in popular cities like Santa Fe come at a premium.
right?
Then you've got renovations creating the atmosphere and look of your restaurant and outfitting the kitchen with top-notch equipment.
Right, because you're essentially building a business from scratch.
Exactly. Then factor in furniture, lighting, all the little details that create ambiance.
Yeah.
And don't forget your initial inventory.
Oh, right.
You'll need food, beverages, and all the basic supplies to get through those first few weeks.
It's like stocking a whole grocery store before you even open.
That's a great analogy. But here's where things get tricky.
Uh-oh.
There are also hidden costs that can sneak up on you.
Ooh, I don't like the sound of that. What kind of hidden costs are we talking about?
Think permits and licensing fees. Those can add up quickly.
Right.
Then there's insurance, property insurance, liability coverage, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Utilities are another big one. Gas, electricity, water, internet. Those monthly bills can be significant.
Right.
And don't forget about staff. You'll need to budget for recruiting, hiring, and training your team.
It's amazing how those recurring expenses can really impact your bottom line.
It's one of the biggest lessons new restaurant owners learn often the hard way.
Yeah.
That's why having a detailed, realistic financial plan is crucial.
Okay.
You need to project your revenue, factor in all expenses, and do a break-even analysis to make sure your concept is actually financially viable.
So it's not just about passion and delicious food. It's about being savvy with the numbers.
Absolutely. Now, are you ready to talk about the heart of the matter?
I think so.
The food itself.
Yeah,
The blog dedicates a whole section to menu planning, and for good reason.
I can only imagine. The menu is what brings everything together.
Right.
The concept, the location, the customer experience. Where do you even begin with crafting a menu for a New Mexican restaurant?
Well, first off, embrace the local bounty.
Okay.
New Mexico offers incredible ingredients. Green chiles, blue corn, piñon nuts, local meats and cheeses. These are flavors people crave,
Yeah.
especially tourists looking for an authentic taste of the region.
So it's about incorporating those iconic New Mexican elements while still putting your own creative spin on things.
Exactly. But there's a balance to strike.
Okay.
You want to offer variety without overwhelming people.
Right.
A massive menu can be confusing and actually lead to higher food costs
How so?
because you're buying so many different ingredients.
Makes sense.
Focus on what you do best and offer enough choices to appeal to different tastes without going overboard.
The blog also mentions the importance of strategic pricing. What does that mean in a practical sense?
It's about knowing your numbers.
Okay.
You need to identify your high-profit dishes, the ones people love, and that also generate good margins.
Right.
Then make sure those dishes are prominent on your menu.
Yeah.
Maybe even highlighting them with descriptions that entice people to order.
It's almost like you're playing a little bit of menu psychology.
Exactly. You're guiding people towards choices that satisfy their taste buds and contribute to your financial success.
So we've covered location permits, finances, and menu planning. It feels like we've already tackled a mountain of information.
We have, but there's still plenty more to explore.
Oh, no.
When we come back, we'll delve into the unique challenges of seasonality in New Mexico's restaurant scene.
Yeah.
And how to navigate those peaks and valleys.
Looking forward to it.
Stay tuned. Welcome back. Now let's talk about something every restaurant owner in New Mexico needs to be prepared for.
What's that?
Seasonality.
Yes. The blog paints a pretty dramatic picture of tourist peaks and valleys. Is it really that much of a roller coaster?
It can be.
Wow.
You've got those busy summer months
Right.
when everyone wants to experience New Mexico's sunshine and outdoor activities. Then ski season brings in a whole different crowd,
Yeah.
especially around resorts like Taos and Santa Fe.
I bet.
Holidays are naturally busy.
Sure.
Then things can slow down quite a bit in between.
So how do you, as a restaurant owner, ride those waves without getting swept away?
Awareness is key.
Okay.
Know your busy seasons and your slower periods.
Right.
That way you can adjust your staffing accordingly.
Okay.
Maybe bring on extra help during those tourist rushes
Yeah.
and scale back a bit during the quieter months.
So having a flexible staffing strategy is essential.
It is.
What about the menu? Does that need to change with the seasons too?
It's definitely something to consider.
Mm.
Could you incorporate seasonal ingredients from local farms?
Oh, yeah?
Maybe offer lighter dishes in the summer
Right.
and heartier fare when it gets colder?
I'm already picturing a green child stew special on a chilly winter night.
Exactly. And think about promotions.
Okay.
Offering specials during slower periods can attract locals
Mm.
and help keep those tables filled.
Makes sense.
Maybe a locals night with discounted prices
Right.
or a special happy hour menu.
Now let's talk about another essential ingredient for success:
What's that?
marketing.
Ah, yes.
The blog stresses the importance of having a strong online presence,
Of course.
especially in today's digital world.
Absolutely. It's no longer optional.
Right.
It's a necessity.
For sure.
Think about it. When was the last time you went out to eat without consulting Google or Yelp?
Probably never.
Exactly.
So where do you even begin with restaurant marketing in New Mexico? It seems like a crowded landscape.
It can be,
Yeah.
but your Google My Business profile is your starting point.
Okay.
Make sure it's claimed, updated, and optimized.
Got it.
This is how you show up in those near me searches
Right.
that people are doing all the time. Include high quality photos
Okay.
of your food, your ambiance, even your team. Those visuals really make a difference.
Right, because a blurry, dimly lit photo of a burrito just isn't going to cut it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then there's local SEO, search engine optimization.
SEO.
Yeah. Make sure your website is using the right keywords so people can find you.
Right.
Think, best green child cheeseburger in Albuquerque, or romantic patio dining in Santa Fe.
So you need to speak Google's language.
Yeah.
What about social media?
Oh.
I know that's a big one for restaurants.
Especially Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
It's all about those visually appealing food photos and videos.
So porn.
You could say that. Use it to showcase your dishes,
Oh.
your unique ambiance,
Mm-hmm.
maybe even behind-the-scenes glimpses of your kitchen or your team.
Cool.
You want to create that I need to be there feeling.
You're speaking my language. The blog also talks about the importance of pre-opening social media campaigns.
Oh, for sure.
What are some effective ways to build buzz before you even open your doors?
It's all about generating excitement and anticipation.
Okay.
Share progress updates on your renovations, tease some menu items,
Yeah.
run contests and giveaways,
Cool.
get people following you, engaging with your posts,
Right?
and counting down the days until you open.
So you're building a community before you even serve your first meal.
Exactly. But don't underestimate the power of good old-fashioned word-of-mouth marketing,
Yeah.
especially in New Mexico, where people are fiercely loyal to their favorite local spots.
Right.
Personal recommendations are gold.
It's the original influencer marketing.
You could say that.
Yeah.
Now let's shift gears and talk about something that's absolutely crucial to your restaurant success.
What's that?
Your team.
Your people. The blog has a whole section on employee training and management.
Right.
And they really stress the importance of investing in your people.
Yeah.
Why is that such a big deal?
Think about it.
Okay.
Even with the most amazing location,
Yeah.
the most delicious food, and the most brilliant marketing, if your staff isn't well-trained and motivated,
Yeah.
it can all fall apart.
Makes sense.
They're the ones interacting with your customers every day,
Yeah.
creating those first impressions
Right.
that can make or break your business.
Right, because even the most incredible meal can be ruined by bad service.
Absolutely. Now, finding and retaining top talent in the restaurant industry can be challenging,
Oh, yeah.
especially with high turnover rates.
But
But there are things you can do to set yourself apart as an employer.
like what?
Yeah.
What are some strategies for attracting and keeping great people?
Well, competitive wages and benefits are essential.
Sure.
That's just the reality of the market.
Right.
People need to be able to make a living,
Yeah.
and they're more likely to stick around if they feel valued and financially secure.
Right. You're investing in your employees' well-being, which ultimately benefits your business.
Exactly. And just as important as pay is the overall work environment.
Okay.
Do you foster a positive, supportive culture? Do you offer opportunities for growth and advancement? These things matter a lot.
So it's not just about the paycheck.
No.
It's about feeling respected and appreciated and being part of a team.
Exactly. Now let's talk about some common employee management mistakes that you'll want to avoid.
Okay, give me the top don'ts
Yeah.
when it comes to managing a restaurant team.
Number one, inconsistent training.
Okay.
You need to have a clear, thorough, and standardized training program.
Right.
So everyone is on the same page and knows what's expected of them.
Right, because how can they excel if they don't know what the rules are or how things work?
Exactly. Another big mistake is micromanaging.
Oh, yeah.
I know it can be tempting to try to control every little detail,
Right.
but it actually backfires.
Okay.
It creates resentment and stifles creativity.
So give your staff the tools and training they need and then trust them to do their jobs.
Exactly. And finally, never ignore employee feedback.
Okay.
They're the ones on the front lines.
Right.
So they often have valuable insights into what's working and what could be improved.
Listen to them.
They might be the ones to spot a potential problem before it becomes a major issue.
Now let's move on to another crucial element of running a successful restaurant,
Okay.
managing vendor and supplier relationships.
Okay. The blog emphasizes the importance of building strong partnerships with suppliers.
Yes.
Why is that so important in the context of New Mexico?
Think about the amazing local ingredients New Mexico is known for.
Okay.
Green chiles, blue corn, local meats, and produce.
Right.
These are the building blocks of your menu.
Uh-huh.
Having reliable suppliers who provide consistently high-quality ingredients is essential.
Right. You can't create a farm-to-table experience without those strong connections to local farms and producers.
And it goes beyond quality.
Okay.
You need suppliers who are dependable,
Mm-hmm.
who deliver on time,
Right.
and who communicate clearly.
Yeah.
Inconsistent deliveries or unexpected price hikes
Oh, yeah.
can throw a wrench in your whole operation.
So how do you go about finding those rockstar suppliers in New Mexico? Start by doing your research.
Okay.
Talk to other restaurant owners.
Uh-huh.
Visit local farmers markets, attend industry events,
Right.
and don't be afraid to ask questions about their sourcing practices, their delivery schedules, their pricing.
The blog also mentions the art of vendor negotiation.
Yeah.
Is that really a thing? It feels a little intimidating.
It doesn't have to be.
Right.
Think of it as building a mutually beneficial relationship.
Okay.
When you have a good rapport with a vendor and you're consistently ordering from them,
Yeah.
they're more likely to offer better pricing
Right.
or give you priority service.
So it's about collaboration, not confrontation.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to leverage your buying power.
Okay.
If you're consistently ordering large quantities of certain items,
Uh-huh.
you might be able to negotiate a volume discount.
It's all about knowing your numbers and being willing to have those conversations.
Now, let's talk about some common vendor management mistakes
Okay.
that can sabotage even the best relationships.
Okay. What are the red flags to watch out for?
Number one, inconsistent communication. Keep your vendors in the loop about your needs,
Okay.
especially if you have a big event coming up
Right.
or if you're anticipating a surge in business.
Yeah.
They need to be able to plan accordingly.
Right. Because surprises aren't fun for anyone, especially when food is involved.
Another mistake is delaying payments.
Oh, yeah.
Vendors are running businesses too,
Yeah.
and they rely on that cash flow.
Right.
Pay your bills on time every time.
Yeah.
It's just good business practice.
And if a problem arises, address it directly and promptly.
Yes.
Don't let things fester.
Now, let's talk about something that's absolutely crucial to the long-term success of your restaurant:
What's that?
financial planning and cash flow management.
Okay. The blog drops a truth bomb here.
Uh-oh.
They say many restaurants fail, not because the food is bad,
Right.
but because the money management is a mess.
It's sadly true.
Yeah.
So many passionate, talented chefs and restaurateurs get caught up in the creative aspects of the business
Right.
and neglect the financial side.
So let's demystify financial planning.
Okay.
What are the essential elements of a solid plan?
First, understand your costs.
Okay.
Start with those big upfront investments.
Yeah.
The lease or purchase of the property, renovations, equipment, furniture, initial inventory.
Right.
Then factor in those ongoing operating expenses.
Right.
Rent, utilities, food costs, labor costs, marketing insurance, and so on.
It's a lot to keep track of.
It is. That's why it's essential to have a system in place, whether it's software spreadsheets or working with a financial advisor.
Yeah.
You need to be able to see where your money is going
Uh-huh.
and make adjustments as needed.
The blog also emphasizes the importance of a break-even analysis.
Yes.
What is that exactly, and why is it so important?
It's essentially figuring out how much revenue you need to generate
Go ahead.
to cover all your costs and start turning a profit. It's a way to see if your pricing and your projected sales are realistic and sustainable.
So it's a reality check for your business plan.
Exactly. Now let's talk about some common cash flow mistakes that can really trip up restaurant owners.
Okay, what are the red flags to watch out for? I'm ready to take notes.
One of the biggest mistakes is over-investing in inventory.
Okay.
It can be tempting to stock up on ingredients,
Oh, sure.
especially when you find a good deal.
Right.
But tying up too much cash in food and supplies can be dangerous, especially if those items end up spoiling before you can use them.
So it's a balancing act, having enough on hand to meet demand without going overboard.
Exactly. Another mistake is not monitoring your cash flow on a daily basis.
Oh, really?
It's not enough to just glance at your bank account once a month. You need to know what's coming in and what's going out on a regular basis.
Gotcha.
You can catch potential problems early on.
Right. It's about being proactive, not reactive.
And finally, remember those seasonal fluctuations we talked about earlier? Your spending needs to adjust accordingly.
Makes sense.
Don't go on a big hiring spree
Right.
or make major equipment purchases during your slower months.
Yeah.
Save those for when you have the revenue to support them.
It's all about being strategic with your finances
Yes.
and adapting to the rhythms of the New Mexico restaurant scene.
Now, are you ready to talk about one of the most valuable resources you have as a restaurant owner?
I'm all ears. What's the secret weapon?
Customer feedback.
Ah, the voice of the people.
It's a gold mine of information.
Right.
And ignoring it can be detrimental to your business.
For sure.
The blog makes a great point.
Oh,
Adapting to customer feedback isn't just about being nice.
right.
It's about survival.
Right. Because in today's world, people have so many choices.
They do.
And they're not afraid to share their opinions, both good and bad.
Exactly. And with online reviews and social media, word travels fast.
It does.
So you need to be actively collecting and analyzing customer feedback.
Okay, so how do you go about gathering that feedback?
There are several approaches.
Mm.
You can monitor online reviews on platforms like Yelp and Google.
Okay.
You can create in-house comment cards or surveys.
Uh-huh.
You can engage with customers on social media
Right.
and pay attention to their comments and messages.
So it's about being present and receptive to what people are saying, both online and offline.
Exactly. But here's the key. Don't just collect that feedback, actually do something with it.
Right. Because what's the point of gathering all that information if you're not going to use it to improve?
So let's talk about the consequences of ignoring those customer complaints.
Oh, boy.
What happens when you don't listen?
I have a feeling it's not pretty.
Well, first off,
Yeah.
those dissatisfied customers are likely to take to the internet
Yes.
and share their negative experiences with the world. And those negative reviews can really hurt,
Oh, yeah.
especially for a new business trying to build a reputation.
Right. Because people trust online reviews almost as much as they trust recommendations from friends.
It's true. And then you risk losing those customers altogether.
Makes sense.
They're not going to come back if they feel like their concerns weren't heard or addressed.
And in a place like New Mexico, where word of mouth is so powerful, that could be devastating.
Exactly. And then there's the overall damage to your brand.
Mm.
If people start to perceive your restaurant
Right.
as one that doesn't care about its customers,
Yeah.
it's going to be hard to win them back.
So how do you turn those complaints into something positive? How do you use feedback to actually make your restaurant better?
The first step is to acknowledge and respond to every piece of feedback,
Okay.
whether it's positive or negative.
Gotcha.
A simple thank you for a good review goes a long way.
Right.
And for negative feedback,
Yeah.
acknowledge the issue, apologize sincerely, and if possible, offer a solution.
Right. Because even a negative review can be an opportunity to show that you care and that you're taking steps to improve.
Exactly. And then this is crucial. Actually, implement changes based on the feedback you're receiving. If you're consistently hearing
Yeah.
that the service is slow or that a particular dish isn't living up to expectations,
Right.
don't just shrug it off.
Okay.
Take action.
Right. But don't just say you're going to do something. Actually do it.
And then let your customers know that you've listened.
Okay.
Communicate those changes you've made, whether it's through social media, email newsletters,
Yep.
or even just a sign in your restaurant.
So close that feedback loop.
Yeah.
Show people that you value their opinions and that you're committed to creating a better dining experience.
Now, before we move on to our final thoughts,
Okay.
let's take a quick recap of the key takeaways from this deep dive.
Okay, let's distill all this wisdom into some actionable advice for our future restaurant owner.
First and foremost,
Okay.
location, location, location.
Right.
We can't stress this enough. Do your research.
Wow.
Analyze the foot traffic, the demographics, the competition.
Uh-huh.
Make sure the location aligns with your concept and your target audience.
All right, because even the most amazing concept can fall flat if it's in the wrong spot.
Next up, permits and licenses.
Okay,
Don't let this be an afterthought.
right.
Get your legal ducks in a row early on to avoid headaches and potential penalties down the road.
It's about laying that solid foundation for your business.
Then create a realistic and detailed financial plan.
Okay.
Don't underestimate those startup costs or those ongoing operating expenses.
Oh,
And make sure you have a solid plan for managing your cash flow,
okay.
especially during those slower seasons.
It's about being financially savvy and prepared for those inevitable ups and downs.
Next up,
Okay.
craft a menu that speaks to New Mexico.
Right.
Embrace those local flavors and ingredients, but also consider profitability
Right.
and keep things manageable.
Yeah.
Don't try to be everything to everyone.
Okay.
Focus on what you do best.
It's about finding that sweet spot between authenticity and creativity.
Then create a marketing strategy that works. Embrace the digital world.
Right.
Optimize your online presence and get active on social media.
For sure.
Use those platforms to showcase your unique personality,
Rah.
your delicious food,
Yeah.
and your amazing team.
It's about reaching your target audience and building that buzz.
And of course, invest in your team.
Of course.
Treat your staff well,
Right.
train them properly, and create a positive work environment.
For sure.
Happy employees lead to happy customers,
Absolutely.
which leads to a successful business.
It's about creating a culture of respect, appreciation, and collaboration.
Build strong relationships with your vendors and suppliers.
Okay.
Communication and collaboration are key.
Right.
Find those partners who share your values
Yeah.
and who are committed to providing consistently high-quality products and services.
It's about creating a network of support that will help your business thrive.
And finally,
Right.
listen to your customers.
Always.
Gather that feedback, analyze it,
Right.
and take action.
Yeah.
It's one of the most valuable tools you have for improving your restaurant
Absolutely.
and creating an experience that keeps people coming back for more.
It's about closing that feedback loop and showing your customers that you value their opinions.
So there you have it.
Wow.
A crash course in avoiding common restaurant opening mistakes in New Mexico.
For sure.
We've covered a lot of ground,
We have.
but we hope this deep dive has given you the insights and the confidence to take the next step.
It's been an incredible journey so far. But before we wrap up this episode,
Yes.
we want to leave you with a final thought,
Okay.
something to ponder as you continue on this exciting path to opening your restaurant.
I like it. We've talked about the essential elements, location, the food, the service, the marketing, the finances.
Yeah.
But what about that X factor, that intangible something that makes a restaurant truly special?
Okay. I'm intrigued. What is this mysterious X factor?
Think about the dining experiences that have truly stayed with you, the ones you still rave about. What made them so memorable? Was it just the food or was there something more?
I think for me, it's often about the feeling I get in the place.
Yeah.
The ambiance, the energy, the way the staff makes me feel.
Right.
It's like they've created a whole world, and for a couple of hours, I get to step into it.
Exactly. It's that intangible something that elevates a meal into an experience.
I like that.
It could be a quirky design element, a thoughtfully curated playlist, a staff that's genuinely passionate about the food and the story behind it.
So it's about creating a vibe, a feeling, an emotional connection that goes beyond just satisfying someone's hunger.
Precisely. And that's where your unique vision comes in.
Okay.
What kind of dining experience do you think New Mexico is missing? What's that gap you can fill?
It's a great question to consider. So let's say I've identified that gap. I've got this vision in my head for a truly unique restaurant.
Right.
What advice would you give me for bringing that vision to life?
Don't be afraid to get specific.
Okay.
Think about all the senses. What will people see, hear, smell, taste, and even feel when they walk into your restaurant?
Okay, so I'm imagining the lighting, the music, the textures, the aromas.
Yeah.
It's about creating a multi-sensory experience that completely immerses people in your concept.
And don't forget about the story.
Oh, right.
Every restaurant has a story to tell.
Sure.
Yours might be about your family heritage, your passion for a particular cuisine, your commitment to local sourcing,
Right.
or maybe even the history of the building itself.
It's about weaving that narrative into every aspect of the restaurant.
Yes.
The menu, the decor, the interactions with the staff.
Exactly. Think about it this way. You're not just opening a restaurant.
Okay.
You're creating a destination, a place where people come not just to eat,
Right.
but to connect, to experience something special, to create memories.
It's inspiring to think about the possibilities. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what are your final words of wisdom for our aspiring New Mexico restaurateur?
Remember that opening a restaurant is a marathon, not a sprint. It's going to be challenging. It's going to be demanding.
Yeah.
But it's also going to be incredibly rewarding.
I bet.
Don't lose sight of your passion, your vision,
Right.
and most importantly, your love for the art of hospitality.
It's about the journey,
Yeah.
the connections you make along the way,
Yeah.
and the joy of creating something truly special.
And never stop learning.
Good advice.
The restaurant industry is constantly evolving.
For sure.
So stay curious, stay adaptable,
Right.
and never be afraid to ask for help when you need it.
Makes sense.
There's a whole community of fellow restaurateurs, suppliers, and industry professionals in New Mexico
Yeah.
who are ready to support you.
That's a wonderful thought to end on. So to all you future culinary stars out there, get ready to shine.
Yes.
We can't wait to see what deliciousness you bring to the land of enchantment.
And who knows, maybe someday we'll be sitting at one of your tables enjoying the fruits of your labor.
That's a wrap on this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.